I'll get it back for you, don't worry.
Please rise. Corporal Mike DiMartino will lead us in the pledge with Officer Ed Ackley in the back holding the flag and bearing it.
Stand by for the presentation of the colors. Remain in position until in appropriate position. Corporal DiMartino.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Thank you, Officer Ackley. Thank you, Corporal DiMartino. Also, welcome to the first regular board meeting for the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ballston in the month of February 2025. want to thank everybody that helped make this kind of late move possible, including our DPW staff that helped get everything together here. This is obviously not our normal location, but also to our police department for inviting us to share their space here tonight, and more on that a little bit later on. Thank you for everybody that came out to join us. And at this time, we'll proceed with our meeting. We have a lot to get through in terms of presentations tonight. First, can I get a motion that the minutes of January 27, 2025's meeting be approved?
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Fondenza. Trustee Price Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have 3 presentations tonight. We're going to start first with a kind of group presentation here. First, Lions Club and the Eagle Scouts project being discussed. Mike Yates and Ed Hirsch from the Ballston Spot Lions Club are going to tell us about an event upcoming, and then they're going to introduce Evan Zalewski, who's going to tell us about his Eagle Scout project. Gentlemen.
Sure. We thought this would be a perfect time. We actually had not made this public yet. We're planning May 3rd this year is National Fitness Day, and we've got together with 4 other clubs, which we call the Zone. And I'm actually reaching out to 2 more clubs tomorrow just to help us. And the Zinn Smith Trail from the east part of Ballston Spot that goes down to Malta on East Line Road and then down to Round Lake, and it continues to go to Mechanical and other spots. We want to have a non-competitive, what we're calling walk, bike, or run for a cause. So it's county run, county owned, they maintain it. We're going to have permission to use it. We have all the insurance papers like we do when we use the music park. And then what we're going to do is try to get people out, meet National Fitness Day, work off some of these winter towns here. And it's kind of, pre-diabetes things that we also work with. So it's kind of twofold. But we also wanted to do it to bring the communities together. I've been on it before. Some people use it, not a lot of people. But we thought it would be kind of fun to get everybody out and coming, some will start in Ballston, some will start around Lake, walking towards each other. That's obviously county owned, you can do it for free. What we're asking, if anyone wants to make a $10 donation, all of those funds will go towards childhood cancer, which is a big part of the Lions Club that we work with around the McDonald House and the Melody Center in Albany. We have somebody that chairs that. We will have food. Still working on a lot of the details. We want to have maybe some strong music along the trail as well. We'll have people sitting at all 3 locations, and maybe some extras. We're still working out with the mayor. First thing I did was called the mayor 6 months ago. I said, what do you think about this? I did the same thing with the supervisor in Malta and then the mayor in Round Lake. They all thought it was great. No expense to the village. The Lions clubs are kicking money in for the food. We just think it would be fun to get out and get some exercise. I have a bunch of flyers. I'll leave these here. We will have a Facebook page up and running. We hope people will sign up ahead of time, but if not, you can show up that day and walk with us. And you want to walk just from Ballston Spot to Malta, it's 2.8 miles. Not bad, but you want to go down 5 miles, you want to come back, it's 10 miles. If this thing kicks off and gets as big as we hope, we may extend it next year down to Mechanicville. That's why we're including them now. And that trail is being extended to Saratoga in the state park. That's probably going to take 2 years. So next year probably won't happen, but we want to see how this thing goes to begin with. But my phone number is on here, email is on here. I'll link these up here. If you want to take it, and any questions, volunteers, anyone who wants to help us. I've got probably 50 to 60 right now, but it takes a number of people in 3 locations to do that. So I need some people crossing. There's only 2 spots down by Curtis Lumber. There's one there at the entrance to the industrial park, and one on East Line Road is a little bad there. The rest of them are easy to do. But we hope people will enjoy it, come out and just exercise with us. And we'd like to get a little camaraderie going. I did talk to Mary Beth Walsh's office, and she said, well, I'll put that on my calendar. It'd be kind of good to have some start here, some start there, kind of walk and meet in the middle, get out fun with it. But so that's on that project. I'll leave it here. So the mayor called me a few weeks ago and told me about a young fellow that's here tonight, and then wanted to do an Eagle Scout project in the music park. And I was honored that he even wanted me to say yes or no, because it's your property. We just oversee it, and we appreciate it. We're glad that everyone comes down to the music park and enjoys the music that we put out. But the stage that was there was built by an Eagle Scout in 2012, 13 years ago. And then we've had 2 other Eagle Scouts, Clifton Park area. One of our lions is the master, the people that oversee it, Scoutmaster. I don't know that much about it. And they did garbage cans for us, they did some signage, they did something around the spring keeps messing around. So we've had a number of projects that we really appreciate, but this young man wants to put some picnic tables in. So tell him a little bit about your project.
All right, so
This is Evans Lucky, guys.
yep, I'm Evans Lucky. I am currently a Life Scout in Ballston Troop 1. My goal is to become an Eagle Scout, and in doing so, I have to lead a service project that benefits my community and helps get people involved in service, but as I always said, benefits my community. In searching for something to do, I was looking around various spots in the village and with various organizations, and I settled on something that I thought would be good, which was the picnic benches in the music park. So what that would entail would be me acquiring materials through donations to build picnic benches with the members of my troop and other people that I'm related to that can help on the project. And it would be on the music park. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but the possibility where we're thinking of putting these picnic benches would be to the right of the stage in the flat area down by the creek. There would be anywhere from about 4 to 6 of them. I have to figure out some numbers on that. And yeah, it would benefit the community, give people access to places to sit when concerts are happening and places to eat. So yeah, that's the goal, and try to create a nice community project.
I love it.
Great. Our tradition is to pass a motion at this point in time to back the idea of the project and a spontaneous motion. So as such, anybody that does want to say anything will have up to 90 seconds of discussion to do so. Can I get a motion supporting the placement of picnic benches and tables by Evans Lucky for his Eagle Scout project in Iron Spring Park with a certificate of insurance to be provided by Boy Scouts with the village as also insured. Trustee Fandesa.
Second.
Trustee Raymond, discussion. Anybody want to give 90 seconds worth of comment? Watch me also on Zoom. Raise your hand if you do. I see a hand. Go ahead, Lisa. Come on up. Yes, please. Only because we want to get it on Zoom.
Spidell, I live in an address in the village near the court. I'm for the project, but I think whenever we do any type of project, we need to think ahead and what could be a problem with that project. Lawn mowing services and whatnot, are these benches movable? Where will they be placed? Is it something that's going to cause disruption for the people sitting when they're watching the things, and where are they going to be? And that needs to be well thought out before, so that we're not, reacting to something. Let's be proactive in this project. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing no hands, any discussion amongst us? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 7, thank you very much. Stay in touch with us. Next next up, I want to invite Matt Erkeline, who is the chairman of the Zoning Advisory Committee, to speak to us about an update about the Zoning Advisory Committee. Matt, thanks for you and your committee's work as you arrived here. And it's your time. Go right ahead. Thank you. Try to lean into the microphone a little bit as possible so folks can hear you.
You betcha.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matthew Erkline, 91 Division Street, Ballston spot. I'm the chair of the Zoning Advisory Committee. The Zoning Advisory Committee, affectionately called the ZAC, has been meeting twice a month for the past 16 months. Darden Bowie, Kamran Parwana, Ann Stango, Margaret Dennison, John Menzie, Marilyn Stevenson, Pete Martin, Rory O'Connor, Jared Iolucci, and until recently, my coffee, have decided a significant amount of their personal time to assist the village with helping consultant rewrite the zoning code. To date, the ZAC has conducted the following: performed an extensive gap analysis on the current zoning code, assisted the consultant Chris Kushel from Fisher & Associates with topics and issues that he presented to the committee, facilitated a village tour, thank you John Coney for helping out with that, conducted a public forum, provided feedback on multiple versions of the draft code. In addition to the ZAC guidance, and per the statement of work, the consultant requested to meet with various village stakeholders, including the building inspector, the mayor, planning chair, HTC chair, zoning chair. Despite multiple attempts to interfere with the committee's work, I am pleased to announce that the village zoning code is now in its last review prior to making it public. Here's the good news. The latest draft is expected to be posted to the village website on or around Friday the 14th of this coming Friday. Some ZAC members continue to debate and want to continue to debate and provide their opinion, and they're more than welcome to do so. There are many topics that the ZAC committee has not had a chance to address, and if we had another 16 months, I'm sure that the committee would get to many of them. The committee's charter states, and I quote, the final product of the final product of the ZAC will be a revised zoning code for the village board's consideration, end quote. The committee's objective is to assist the consultant with their task of drafting the code, not boil the ocean. And that's exactly what we've accomplished. In speaking with the consultant, he has confirmed that the ZAC has fulfilled its obligation in assisting him and his team with the creation of the zoning code and is no longer needed. The committee's work is essentially done, and now it's your turn, the public's turn, to take over. Now we can all take part in fine-tuning this code, and we're going to need your help to do this. And so, when the draft code is published, there will be a Google form that accompanies this code online. Please use this form to record your inputs. This feedback will go directly to the consultant as well as the board for consideration. One request: to make the most out of your comments, we ask that your feedback be couched in recommendations, not purely what things that you don't like or what things you may not agree with, or may not make sense to you. Instead, along with your feedback, please try to include an alternate solution. As the great Bill Parcells used to say often to his team, come to me with solutions, not problems. This approach will go much farther in making the code what we all want it to be. Several key points. Number one, a theme that consistently came up with the committee was enforcement. Enforcement is the key that makes this whole thing work. Without it, our work is all for naught. The committee constantly stumbled across enforcement issues rather than zoning ones. Point number two, enforcement needs to be funded, ensuring that yearly operating budget has a requisite funding to ensure proper enforcement mechanism must occur. And finally, number three, we need to have a willing, able, and empowered building inspector that will do their job. We as a committee cannot stress enforcement enough. This is a make or break deal, this request having successful zoning. Now for some next steps. The draft is getting a final review by the consultant, and we are targeting this Friday the 14th for the draft to be posted on the village website. Number two, public forum will be held on March 20th, where the consultant will be facilitating a workshop for everyone for the latest draft code. I highly encourage everyone to attend. And number three, after the incorporation of the feedback is garnered from the public during this forum, the draft code will be turned over to legal as well as the village board to conduct their own process, which I understand includes yet another public review. So on behalf of the ZEC, Darvin Bowie, Kamran Parwana, Anna Stanko, Margaret Dennison, John Menzie, Marilyn Stevenson, Pete Martin, Rory O'Connor, and Jared Ialucci, we thank you for the opportunity to assist the village with this effort. And remember, enforcement and funding of said enforcement is the key to making this whole thing viable. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And again, thank you to the ZAC for their work, and still some things to knock out there, obviously, and your participation is very much wanted. Can't wait to see what the residents come up with as well. Up next, presentation by Ballston Police Department Chief David Bush, who again welcomed us with open arms into the police department building here. A little ironic that it's happening today as we have our second pipe problem in 30 Bath Street in the old police section, which is a good reminder that we probably moved at the right time with respect to the police preserving facilities like these. Granted, we're in the garage, but it is a very nice location for them, and he'll tell us a little bit more about how that's all working out for them since they moved into these digs just last year. Chief Bush.
Thank you. Again, my name is Dave Bush. I'm Chief of Police with Ballston Police Department. Welcome to our new home, 38 Thompson Street. The mayor requested that I let you know how we're making out here. We're making out very, very, very well. It's night and day between our new home and our old home. So, yeah, we love it. It's working out great. Any questions? Okay, good night.
Tell us more, Chief.
You know, just the little things that make our life a lot easier down here at 78 Thompson Street. As I was pointing out to Sean here a little while ago, I have a freaking window in my office. It is the most beautiful thing. I look out and see the side of another building, and it is absolutely wonderful compared to what I was back before. We have space to work, we have space to do the things that we need to do in order to be an efficient police department. And so we are very, very, very grateful to the board, very grateful to our community for supporting us in this move. I spoke about it before that we had received a rather substantial technology grant that's actually furthering our ability to serve the community. And those things are being put into place. So far to date, we received 10 body cams, which as soon as the policy procedure is finalized, members of this will utilize those. On two of our police field vehicles, we have a LPR, or license plate reader, brand new, state-of-the-art, top of the line. They have been installed and they are in use. Also in use in our patrol vehicles as a result of this grant is each one of our patrol vehicles has been outfitted with the top of the line computer system, printing system, communication system. So that has really increased our ability to serve the public much more efficiently. At some point, there will be some street cameras going up along Route 50 on the Milton corridor that will allow us to use those cameras in motor vehicle accidents, crimes in progress. One of those cameras is also going to be incorporated in a LPR. So we will be in a network of other LPR users, license plate reader users throughout the state. Very, very effective and very, very necessary for Amber alerts and those types of things. So yeah, we're moving along. We're adjusting well. We're very, very happy here at 78 Thompson Street. And We look for many, many, many years of good work here for the community. We are very, very happy that we got out before the two water main breaks at 30th Street. But the nice thing about that is that's a problem.
Thanks, Chief.
I would like to speak to you tonight a little bit about the Ballston Spa Police involvement with our federal partners, specifically ICE immigration. I'm going to go through a scenario here of an incident that happened on the 26th of January at about 3:30 in the afternoon. I'd like to preface that by saying that when it comes to dealing with our federal partners, if we have issues with weapons, firearms, explosives, things like that, arsonists, we reach out to ATF, our federal partner. When we have issues with drugs that go beyond the scope of things that we can't handle or our local county partners can't handle, we go to the DEA. We go to our partners at the FBI in case we have some sort of major kidnapping case or robbery case, more specifically in the line of the bank robbery. We reach out to our immigration officials when, in fact, we have an issue with immigration. I've been in law enforcement for over 30 years. I can count on my left hand using two fingers how many times I have personally called ICE. It is a very, very, very rare occasion. On January 26th at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, my patrol witnessed a vehicle traveling southbound on Milton Avenue, and it ran the red light at Front Street in Milton. It then proceeded to travel south past the library, passing two vehicles on the left-hand side of the double-sided line. The emergency lights were activated, and that vehicle proceeded to run the red light at West High, Church Ave. Ultimately turning in Cumberland, Cunningham's laundry. As my patrol, my one-man patrol, went towards that vehicle, the folks in that vehicle, all the folks in that vehicle attempted to flee. And by the mere presence and forcefulness of his command, they did not. They stopped. And they waited. There were 8 occupants in that vehicle. My one guy. Trying to speak with the occupants, trying to speak with the operator of that vehicle. Nobody spoke English, and my officer did not speak any other language. My officer requested somebody to spoke what he believed that they were speaking, which was Spanish. And there was nobody available. What he did at this point was he called immigration dispatch for their law enforcement assistance with language. We got Spanish-speaking dispatcher on the phone. My officer handed the phone to the driver, and the driver and that dispatcher spoke for several minutes. When that driver handed the phone back to my officer, the dispatcher told him we had a very, very serious problem here. And they were dispatching on their own somebody could see from ICE and Homeland Security. He also requested some assistance from the Saratoga County Sheriff's Department as a backup, being that there was an 8-to-1 ratio. standard procedure. We do it when it's 2-to-1. We do sometimes do it when it's 1-on-1. 8-to-1, absolutely, you better find yourself a little bit of help. While we are waiting for ICE or Homeland Security to arrive at the scene, a black BMW pulls up on our traffic stop. Utah plates. Driver exits the vehicle, goes to my officer, and says, "That's my van." We ask for identification, gives identification that shows he had a driver's license out of Nevada. Ran his name, ran the plate on the vehicle that we had stopped. It did not come back to him, it's not his vehicle. He then requested to take all the occupants of that vehicle with him. To which we asked, what are their names? I don't know. He was informed that as soon as I could hear what sort of things out, and anybody wants to know what he did that. He got his car and sped off down the road. We didn't pursue that avenue at that time because we obviously had our hands full. When I arrived, it was determined that there were 5 individuals out of 8 in the vehicle who were on their wanted list. What their wanted list means, I don't know. We can assume, we can guess. I don't know what it means. That's their problem, not mine. So they took 5 individuals. The other 3 individuals were put in the police car with my officer, and they were given a courtesy ride to Robinson Hotel, where they had a room that they were all sharing. It was cold out. It was a nasty day, it was cold. We are not in the habit of calling ICE or anybody else unless we need help. We will never, ever call ICE unless there's been a crime committed. If there's been a crime committed, you can be assured we are calling ICE. And it's going to happen 100 out of 100 times. But I must point out again, it is such a rare occurrence. I understand the climate in this country. I get it. I understand it 100%. But I gotta let you know that my department, my officers, we don't pick and choose what laws we enforce. We don't run through a manual every time something happens. If we're on patrol and we see a fire, we don't have to look at the manual to know that we need to call the fire department. If we roll on an accident, we don't have to check the manual to discover that there needs to be a tow truck. We may be given an ambulance. These are basic, fundamental things that police do in this country every single day. We do not and will not participate in any immigration operation. None. And they've held 3 of them in the last 3 weeks. Right here in our village. We're not helping you, fellas. Good luck. Or if there is a crime committed in this village, my officers come by, and it's determined that there may be an immigration issue, then we will, 100 out of 100 times, call off. Absolutely, and no questions asked, and I am not ashamed of that. Not one bit. The amount of times that ICE has been called, again, I tell you, 30 years plus of police work, and I've called them 3 times. And I've worked for 4 different agencies. I get it. I get the emotions. I get that friction in this country. I get it. You can't help but get it. But please understand, the Ballston Spa Police Department, under my leadership, they're going to do their job. We do not pick and choose the law. We enforce the law 100%. Thank you.
Seldom am I at a loss for words, so it's your turn to give some words. It's public comment on agenda items only. Because it's written in that manner, that means that the discussion that just occurred is fair game, as is the ZAC, as is Lyons and Evans projects. So those are agenda items for the purpose of this public comment session number 1. There is a public comment session number 2 for all other business not reflected on the agenda later in the meeting. If you would like to speak for up to 3 minutes, please raise your hand and we'll ask you to come up to the podium one by one. Also, if you're on Zoom and would like to give a public comment on agenda items only, please raise your hand on Zoom. Looking for the first hand in the crowd, if anybody that would like to speak. Right on.
Ray Otten, 16 Middlebrook Avenue. First, I want to say 2 words. Thank you. Thank you to not only you, Chief Bush, but to your entire staff. To hear that come across the way you did puts everything in perspective to those people who thought maybe something else was going on. And when I was in this building, it was the same thing with EMS. We don't treat people based on anything other than what's wrong. Okay, what's wrong with that person, we're going to help fix it. Just as his officers do. They enforce the laws. And if they need help, and they don't call, God knows what can happen. So, again, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Anybody else in the room? Yes?
Jessica, 77 Ballston Ave. Thank you, Chief, for the clarification. I appreciate that. And I think that, you know, your heart's in the right place for sure. But the reality is that we have lots of members of this community who are feeling targeted, and in fact have sent along messages shooting to kind of share tonight about that feeling being targeted, specifically the idea that they're being racially profiled. And I don't know if you want to kind of answer back to that or not, but I'm concerned that, and I've seen the video and I've heard the police radio recording of the stop. I'm concerned that there was just an automatic leap from Spanish speaking to immigration, and if you could maybe clarify how those things are conflated, not knowing the actual citizenship status of people in the car, that would be helpful. But there are some business owners and business workers in this community who are feeling really scared. And they're scared to be at work, they're scared to be at home, they're scared to be on the roads. So and these aren't necessarily people who are undocumented people, and even if they were, it's not illegal to be present in this country undocumented. That itself is not a crime. But these are people who are,
Folks.
can you please be respectful? Excuse me. You can read the Attorney General's statement. These are people who have, who are maybe of Latino or Hispanic descent, who are feeling really, really scared. So I'd really love to kind of think about how we call this a village of friends, and when we talk about a community, what that means, and how we care for each other in the community, or we leave people feeling really scared.
Chief would like to respond, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, Dave, what you doing? Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jess, 100%, and something that I failed to mention was, again, I can get it, but one of the main concerns for Homeland Security is the fact that they are investigating 100%, is the fact that these folks in the plan are being found. I'm sure everybody's aware of the current climate with human trafficking. You've heard about it, read about it, seen it. Yeah, it's happening all over the country, it's happening right here in the village hall supply. And I, for one, am very, very grateful to the fact because the guy pulled up with the BMW, or the safe fence, whatever the heck it was, he had one goal in mind, to get his property back. That was his goal. His property, he wasn't talking about the jail. We might just have saved the life if you want that. But I understand what you're saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am Alexandra Versace, 35 Main Street. I have been working with the Hispanic community for many, many years in the County area, and I am being asked all kinds of questions that I don't have the answer for, given the political climate, and so I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to ask you directly so that I can also have the correct information to share with you. So, in the past, many times, undocumented individuals, or simply people that might have as undocumented, have been driving without a license, let's say. So in this political climate, when people come to me and say, if I'm driving around without a license, is that most likely that I am going to be detained? People do ask me that.
Yeah, well, it's a valid point, and normally driving without a driver's license is going to cause you to lose the vehicle that you're driving in currently. You're obviously going to be issued some type of uniform traffic ticket, and at that point, if there's no identification that can be shown by the operator of that vehicle, and you can't communicate fairly enough, there's a good chance that ICE may or may not be called. Now, to your point, December 25th, we had a gentleman driving his employer's van down Milford Avenue, smashed into a parked car. He was a .18, which is over twice the legal limit of DWI, and he was an undocumented person in the country. At that point, we gave some traffic tickets. We did call immigration, and they said, take his name down and the telephone number, we're going to call you. That's how they work.
So I heard you explain that unless an individual has committed a crime, immigration needed not be called, or you did not need to get.
We don't detain anybody on the basis of their immigration status. No one.
Right, but it's, how can, I mean, immigration status is hard to find out unless the person you are speaking to, which you cannot communicate with, cannot explain what their situation is. So it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, well, first of all, we have to understand, look at why we haven't contacted that individual first, why we haven't had any contact whatsoever. Did something happen to make them have police contact? That's the number one thing. And once police contact has been established, you have to ask yourself, and you have to determine whether or not a crime has been committed. And if no crime's been committed, have a nice day, we'll see you next day. If a crime's been committed, then that's altogether a different story.
Okay, is a failure to provide an ID grounds for detainment in your political climate?
If you are operating a motor vehicle in this state or specifically this village, and you do not have any identification on you, it is implied consent when you apply for your driver's license that if you're asked for your driver's license on a traffic stop by a police officer, that you're going to supply that document. If you can't supply that document, well, now we do have a problem.
We do?
We do. Not a very serious one, but we have a problem.
That's a great source of confusion for me. I want to do because I don't fully understand. Is failure to supply identification a crime? What crime does that mean?
Operating a motor vehicle without a license. It's a violation of the New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law. I think this is a great discussion for you and I and the mayor to sit down and go over all these concerns with you, where we can actually sit down, look at each other across the table and
Anything would be misdemeanor, right? Misdemeanor, driving without a license?
no, driving without a license is a violation, infraction.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I've met the police, I'm really happy that you are in this building. It is so much nicer than the other one, and you are one of the finest men I've met. You and your team, yes, thank you very much for your service.
And I do ask you to give your contact information so we can continue the conversation with any questions you have. Chief Clerk, Chief Bush, feel free to.
Of course.
And would love to speak with you further on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I said, Christine, okay, go ahead. Again, if you're on Zoom and you would like to speak, we have no hands up on Zoom currently. Please raise your hand. Again, this is for agenda items only. Go right ahead.
Muy buenas noches. I promise you I will speak English for the rest of my question and answer time. I just want to clarify that people that are born in this country and grow up in Spanish-speaking households can continue to speak Spanish. They can continue to speak Spanish at traffic stops, in their home life, at work, and they are not in fact immigrants. I think there's a little bit of some confusion in the room about how an immigrant is defined, and I think it's really important to remember that not everyone who speaks a different language is an immigrant to this country or to this county. I actually, oh my gosh, did you just leave? I actually have a question for Chief Bush.
10 seconds, so you do that, or?
But my time is ticking. Okay, well, I'm going to present my question.
See, 10 seconds.
I thank you for returning. I actually have a question for you. I saw this traffic stop at Cunningham's on that Sunday, and I actually saw two patrol cars there, so there must have been a second one that showed up at some point in the village. And I felt a huge amount of discomfort from the situation as I was driving by. And I thought about stopping. I didn't see the driver, I didn't see who was in the van, but I saw the van, and I wondered, if perhaps the stop involved Spanish-speaking people. And I'm asking you, because I truly wondered, if I had stopped, would I have been able to help out in any way, I'm bilingual, with my Spanish-speaking abilities, or do people uninvolved with the scene, are they not encouraged to provide help?
That's a great question, and just understand that we didn't stop them because we thought they were somebody else, or we thought they were who they were. We stopped them because of what they did,
Sure.
okay? We will always accept any type of help that's available as long as it's in a safe and controlled manner. Everybody heard the police department said, "Go get shot up." Well, they ultimately got that guy in a traffic stop. I mean, we have to pick and choose what we think might or might not be safe and ask the officer before we approach. But yeah, if you can help us with the language barrier, that's fantastic.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something that would be welcome or
And
not.
if we can't do something like that safely, we will let you know.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Name the address, if you could, for the record.
1403 West High Street, Ballston.
Name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim Anderson.
Thanks, Kim.
Didn't realize that.
Oh, you're
You're
fine.
showing your Spanish skills.
Thanks, Kim. Anybody, I do see a hand, Lisa?
So this is kind of in reference, thank you, Chief Bush, this is a good building that you're in and everything else. It's not just about that specific traffic stop that I have a question about. I'm curious to know, because we're getting into budget season, we're not in every building. And I know last year I asked the question, I never got an answer, so I want to get some advance. How many calls we make, or we get, stops that are made, arrests that are actually made by the village police department? How many for last year, and where we're at this point? Of those arrests, how many were made by you, or how many were made by other law enforcement agencies? Because I'm curious to know, based on this thing, so we have a language barrier, so we call somebody in. Why do we choose ICE? Do we have an interpreter at the sheriff's office or no? We do not. Okay, so that was the only option, was to call ICE.
Listen, we have, this department employs a Spanish speaking officer. And when he's available to help anytime that he's needed, but he wasn't available. And that might be the same true for Central County. I don't know who their personnel, I don't know their personnel, what their makeup is.
So, that's where I'm going with this, is that are there instances where you have to call in, it doesn't have to be an immigration issue, it could just be, Joe Schmo that's driving down the road, or Jane Schmo, driving down the road, and gotta pull him over, and for some reason, whatever the reason may be, hey, I need somebody else for assistance, because we don't have any other police officers to help us. So we call the sheriff's office, or we call the state police. Would this have been an opportunity where we could have, instead of calling ICE, because we have a language barrier, call the state sheriff's office, call the state police first, and say, hey, this is the situation, do you have someone that can help us? Rather than going right to ICE, and I think that's kind of, we don't.
Okay, again, we did not go right to ICE. We use them as an interpreter. Okay, with their dispatch, that's what we use them for.
But that's what I'm saying, once you go to ICE and you're using it as an interpreter, that's opening up a door that maybe we didn't have to open that door if we had went to the sheriff's office or the state police first.
Okay.
I'm not saying we did anything wrong, because
Well, we didn't do
obviously
anything wrong,
this
I
is-
agree.
Absolutely, I mean, you have a situation, there's a potential danger to the community, to society in general, and that's what law enforcement is for. I'm just, again, being proactive, this is an open discussion for us to discuss. Hey, is there another way that we could approach this if it's not, if it's one person in the car, or if it's not a van and doesn't have the other situation, because yes, that did clarify a lot more, but if it is just a basic situation, could it be handled in a different manner?
Oh, I understand what you're saying, and please understand, I can't emphasize this enough. This is not the usual occurrence in the village law. It doesn't happen all that often. It happens, if this happens another time this year, something similar to this, I'd be shocked. Just doesn't happen.
Be ready to be shot.
Well, thank you.
Lori, you see, is on Zoom with her hand up, so we'll go to Lori next. Lori, go ahead, go off mute, and you are ready to go.
Thank you. This is Lori Acey. I reside at 25 Eastern Ave in Ballston Spa. I just wanted to jump on really briefly. Prior to this incident back in 2020, I served on the Advisory Committee for Public Safety as the chairperson in the Village of Ballston Spa. And we worked on the New York State Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative that was put out by the governor at that time. And it was a very varied group of attendees and people that participated. At the time, it was Mayor Larry Wilbright, the Chief of Police, David Bush, myself, Susanna Amatai, Kelly Gregory, Ray Otten, Lori Riggs, and Joe Staff at the time. It was a very diverse group and a lot of different perspectives. And I wanted to just kind of remind the community that this document is online if anyone wants to review it. It's very comprehensive. It's over 55 pages long. And I just wanted to say in closing that the committee participating in this process actually stated that with the input and insights of both the chief of police, David Bush, the mayor, and our community members in the village, it was actually an honor to participate on reviewing our police department. Overall, the feedback from the community and the stakeholders was extremely favorable. And as a committee, we felt very proud of that because that was not necessarily the case in other areas in the country. Our sense at that time was that Chief Bush and the police force of the village of Ballston Spa believed very much in integrity, professionalism, fair treatment, and quality service. And as a committee, we acknowledged that it's incredibly hard work to do the jobs that they do, and that years of dedication was put forth that had gotten us and our village into the place that we were in at that time when they were reviewed. And our sights were really set with that committee on just addressing anything that might need change, but definitely not making change for the sake of it, but rather more important and valuable reasons to benefit the community and the police department together. And so I know this topic of this incident in the villages brings a lot of emotion, and it's very close to the bone for a lot of folks. And but I do want to just kind of bring forward that this document exists, that again, Chief Bush was always incredibly transparent and very straightforward. And the group that represented our committee was a wide variety of folks from the village, not just, one angle. And so, I just thought that might be of help to people if they might want to take a look at that in some way.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you for your work on that. We still are disappointed you had to step down as chair because you so many other things going on, but your contributions during that time were invaluable. So thank you again for all you did in that committee, which still is a standing committee in the village, and at some point in the future, I'm sure it will be utilized as the state puts more requirements forward at that point in time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Ryan, come on. Yep.
Ryan Johnson, 154 Milton Ave. We've had a couple people come up here tonight and talk about people in the village being scared. My kids are scared. They live here. They're 11 and 8. They're scared. So yeah, everybody might be scared, but there was a thorough answer to how the call went down. Ballston Spa PD, and you can listen to this on the site. Ballston Spa PD was asked, does anybody have a Spanish-speaking officer? Saratoga Sheriff was asked, does anybody have a Saratoga officer? His next words were ICE. He needed to communicate with those 8 individuals and could not. So that was an awesome explanation you had up here. I don't know how there's any questions about that still. We keep talking about that it's not illegal to be here in this country when you enter it illegally. 100% is illegal. Entering the country is a violation of section 1325, illegal entry, or 1326, illegal re-entry. That is of chapter 8 of the U.S. Code. 100% it's illegal to enter this country illegally. And that's, you can ask anybody in our government, that'll come right down. I'm not saying everybody that comes here illegally is bad, but I'm sure the Lakin Rileys of this world wish somebody had called on their murderers. I'm not saying everybody that comes into this country illegally is bad, but there are some nefarious characters, and those are the ones we need to get out of here. And I think that's all these people are trying to do. Chief Bush just said that he's never going to help out with an ice rink. There's been 3 in our village already. He didn't help with that. That wasn't what this was. This was an officer down 8 to 1. You ever been surrounded by 8 people? I think we called for backup too. He needed a way to communicate with them. He found a way to do that. A lot of people don't like the way he found a way to do that. He did his job, and I thank you wholeheartedly for doing that. Knowing the man for 45 years, she left for my dad. I was knowing Dave since I was probably old enough to grab his knee. We talk about profiling in here. That's not what happened here. He explained in the traffic stop how many violations those people broke before they got pulled over. They weren't profiled. If any of us did those things, we'd be pulled over too. I'd have to show my driver's license. He did nothing wrong. The drivers did everything wrong. So if you want to say that he pulled over a driver and then the rest of the people in there, the way they were acting, you can make a case there. But 100% did his job. I mean, it was a perfect explanation. I had questions. I didn't have any after he got done. I mean, we had somebody just up here that wanted to discuss his policies. I mean, are we going to come up here and start having policies and start telling the fire department how they need to respond to fire calls? Are we going to have the EMTs come in here and start telling them how they need to respond to EMTs?
15 seconds.
They have their jobs, and we let them do that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Zoom, Natalia Martinez.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Natalia Martinez. I'm a business owner on 40 Front Street. And I just want to remark that I am very thankful that this conversation is happening. Not because I think that the policemen were profiling, not because I think that there was something nefarious happen, but I think that we as business owners and residents should be welcome to ask questions, not to make policy for the fire department or for the police department. It's just so that we are all on the same page. So I'm really happy with the way the conversation has been going today. It was really important for me to hear like what the procedures are and what the policemen are doing to keep our space safe, but also what is being done to protect those people that may not have either sufficient knowledge of what the rules are, have the proper documentation, or the proper knowledge of how to advocate for themselves too. So I just want to remark that I am happy to see that this conversation is taking place and that we can do it in a civil way. That's all.
Thank you, Natalia. See hand, Marilyn, and bless you with this thing.
It's been a great turnout tonight. I wish every trustee meeting looked like this. I think that would be a healthier, more engaged community. I'm Marilyn Stevenson, 45 West High Street, and I'm a member of the Zoning Advisory Committee. And I just want to bring it back to Matt's report. There's several of us here in the audience that are members of the Zoning Advisory Committee. And just to remind you that our recent meeting had been canceled, but we had a very important presentation that was scheduled for it. And our next meeting, February 20th at 7 p.m. at 50 West High Street, hopefully we can get John Cromie back to talk about a model ordinance for historic preservation. We also have other topics that we're going to be talking about in the remaining months that we have left.
Zach still has not talked about open space, planned development districts, accessory dwelling units, and short-term rentals. And these are all topics that the community brought up at our first public workshop. So just as a reminder, save the date. The second public rezoning workshop is March 20th, 7 p.m., 50 West High Street, and that's at the Cornell Cooperative Extension Auditorium on West High Street. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Jerry?
Jared Lucci, 24 Chapman Street. Excuse me. I have two topics I want to make sure and discuss this evening. First, the zoning advisory committee, where I'm also a committee member. As Marilyn noted, we have a number of topics still to discuss. The zoning advisory committee, in its charter, is tasked with providing recommendations for updating zoning. The zoning advisory committee will provide recommendations for updating zoning. We have not done so as a committee thus far. Individual members have provided feedback through drafts that often conflict with one another, meaning our committee has not provided any clear recommendations or guidance. In absence of any clear committee recommendations and guidance, we have not fulfilled our responsibility as a committee. I'm hopeful that over the course of the next few meetings, we will have the opportunity as a committee to vote on several of the topics mentioned by Marilyn in her comment as well. I also encourage everyone to review the draft when it's made public, provide their comments to the Google form that Matt mentioned, and attend the public zoning workshop to discuss all of those directly with our constituents. The second topic I want to touch on is the police stop. Again, I appreciate Chief Bush and your comments. Thank you for sharing the experience and what occurred. I share a question with several other commenters regarding policy that enables the village police to call Immigration and Customs Enforcement during a traffic stop. Chief Bush, you mentioned that you tried calling for a translator. I think anybody who listens to the audio is aware that that occurred as well. What is unclear still is why the choice is made from lack of a translator to ICE. And I'm curious, based on the comments that the mayor made in the paper about pre-existing policy, where we community members are able to see those policies. I also reviewed the report that a previous speaker mentioned from 2020, 2021. In that report, they recommend the creation of written policies and handbooks. Now, I recognize we're not going to be able to see a police officer's handbook. However, I think we as citizens and community members have a right to understand the policies that are used on our behalf to keep our community safe.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yep. Nothing? As you get older, the eyesight is going down.
Me too. We're the Tim Zerbiak, 32 Chesterwood Court. My question is more of a concern of translation services and whether or not there are any other available besides bilingual officers or calling ICE directly. Is there any systems to your knowledge of translation services that would be available to the officers in the field?
There are avenues to take, and one of those avenues is the one we took. After exhausting the county, after exhausting our own officers who speak Spanish, I'm sure not in the heat of the moment, we could sit back and look and find out, well, why did you do this, why did you do this, why did you do this? At the time, I can guarantee you that there was more things on the mind of a police officer than actually this meeting here tonight, talking about how he did and did not do his job.
I understand that, but you guys have a tough job, and I appreciate all you do out there. My question is more on the line of coming that don't speak English, and we have a translation service through the iPad that allow us to communicate with our patients, and, you know, make sure things aren't lost in translation. I was wondering if that is an equivalent to that.
I think as a last resort, that would probably be something that would be beneficial. However, when you have to keep your two eyes on 16, focusing on an iPad or something else like that is not reasonable. It's not safe. It's not safe for the occupants. It's not safe for the officer.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else in the room or on Zoom? Last call either way. I do see your hand. And this is officially the last call for Zoom as well, though. Please, if you do want to speak on Zoom, raise your hand now. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Crystal Hernandez. I'm the Executive Director of LifeWorks Community Action, 39 Bath Street, here in the village. Chief Bush, thank you, Mayor Rossi, trustees, for having this discussion this evening. I wanted to comment that LifeWorks stands at the ready to assist and serve the village as a resource among many of the programs that we offer here. In Saratoga County is an immigrant services department that works very closely with the immigrant community. So as conversations may continue, we would very much like to participate in those discussions and acknowledge both the challenges of law enforcement and public safety, and also the concerns of the immigrant community and some of the fear that people are experiencing, whether they're documented or undocumented, because of the climate that impacts our community, regardless of the individual policies and actions that we take here. So thank you. And again, LifeWorks is here as a resource to the village.
And Crystal, I did pass on our conversation to Chief Bush, and we look forward to very soon getting together with you. He has nothing but positive things to say about LifeWorks' contributions to our community, as do I. Anybody left in the room? Otherwise, we're going to close public comment number 1, and we will move on to our consent agenda items for consideration. Would anybody like to remove an item? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda? Trustee Bandeja, Trustee Price-Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to motions and resolutions for consideration or vote. Can I get a motion that the DPW be authorized to expend the amount of $12,330 for, who knew, road salt? Trustee Bandeja.
Second.
Trustee Raymond, discussion. Please stop snowing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Bill Rohr, please, folks, in the room. We just want to kind of power through this. We have some things to get through here. Thank you. You know, I failed in my director job here. Okay. Can I get a motion that Eagle Mat Lee Fire Company number 1 be authorized to expend the amount of $2,475 in pagers? Trustee Bandeja. Trustee Price-Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We still use paper.
Yeah, we do. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to allow the Committee on the Arts to place up to 30 haiku yard signs in the tree boxes along Milton Avenue and Front Street during the month of April, which is Poetry Month? The signs will be removed by May 3rd. Trustee Bandeja. Trustee Price-Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Folks, you have to conduct business here. Thank you. Can I get a motion approving the purchase of telemetry equipment for the Colonial Hills Water Tower for a cost of $7,075 from Smith Controls?
I would like to ask that this motion be amended to be subject to the training review.
Yeah, I think we want the next one, actually, E on that one. This is, this we're in, yep, no problem. As is. Trustee Bandeja. Trustee Price-Bush, discussion. I was waiting for that. This is to ensure that when we have to move over to Colonial Hills Water Tower, when we take John Street Tower out of commission to do the internals, to basically get the paint off and any rust and everything inside, that Colonial Hills Water Tower has communication such that we can communicate with it as we need to, for the same way as we do with our other water towers. We do have to improve the telemetry of the other towers eventually, but they are operational currently. But this is just a start, one of the basically 4 steps that we'll need to do. So that's this one, and it is time sensitive to get this one done so that we're ready to do the work on John Street Tower very soon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion approving the mayor to enter into an agreement for services after approval by attorney review related to installation of telemetry equipment for the Colonial Hills Water Tower for a cost not to exceed $14,999.99, an amount based on the Bell Engineering's estimate for such work plus contingency. Note, no installation service has been determined as of yet, and this motion is proposed due to the time-sensitive nature of the work to be performed. Trustee Condenza?
Second.
I'll give it to Trustee Raymond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's announcements. Just going to keep this kind of short to remind everybody that we do have sledding down the hill because, hey, we have snow this year. Okay? I can't believe it. March 1st. A lot more details come out about that soon, but it will be good to at least celebrate some level of winter after we've been miserable from it for so long. That's about it. We've got a lot of things going on, but I would kind of take social media for a lot of this stuff so that we can not belabor this tonight. Treasurer's report. Treasurer, do you want it? Oh, thanks. Utility bills have gone out. Payments are coming in at a rapid pace. If in the future you'd like to receive your utility bill via email, please call the village hall and have us update your account. It's been working very well. Utility bills we do by the end of business on February 28th, 2025 to avoid any penalties. We're still modeling through a payroll system, the new one that we just started up this year. This week's payroll including ease, punching the time clock, and of course with anything new, there's a learning curve, not only for employees, but us in the treasurer's office or them, as the case may be. I'm confident, this says the treasurer, that this change will greatly benefit us in the long run. Once we get issues worked out as they arise, of course, please don't hesitate to reach out. Any questions? If you're an employee of the village, receive your paycheck, be it weekly or monthly, you need to establish your complete payroll account. That includes me, I think. This will be important as gaining access to your pay stubs and wage information at the end of the year. We'll not be mailing out pay stubs. They'll be available online. Contact the treasurer on that. Medical cards. Those employees that are enrolled in Lifetime Benefit Solutions have received their health reimbursement debit cards at this point. I did, so I can confirm that. If you have a question on whether or not something is eligible for you to use your debit card, please call Lifetime Benefits, as they know that's what's allowed. And budget requests, we're going to be doing our budget requests coming up over the next week or so, and scheduling department and not-for-profit discussions related to submissions that come in over the next couple of weeks, starting around February 21st and going over the next 2 weeks from there. So look forward to that. And if you usually get money from the village or ask for money from the village or your department head, that's what's coming up here. It is budget season. Bank reconciliations for the month of January have been completed. Let's go to our liaison reports, and we'll start with Mary to my left.
Okay, as the mayor mentioned, slowing down the hill, and that is sponsored by SLIP, Jetpack, DPW, County DPW, and Village of Ballston. So it runs from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. and it's on the sledding hill. Other events that this is being also put on by the events committee. We're also working on the Easter egg hunt for children on Monday, and all of those will have definite dates and more details coming on the near future.
Thank you, Mary. Where you at?
We tried doing stuff on that.
You're looking like the Kansas City Chiefs over here.
Okay, that's a great start to your report. I'd like to, well, first I'll get the fun one out of the way. The BSBDA had a wonderful chocolate fest. Considering that there were some hiccups that the organization had dealt with, the county, a lot of effort was put in by their whole group to make it a success.
Can you elaborate on what changed actually?
Okay, yeah, I didn't know how much I should get into that. The state is now relying on counties to enforce health code related policy in relation to like bakers and people that are going to have a food business, or whether they're going to have items in their business. And poor Ellie did a lot of work, and we tried.
It was all good.
Okay. Basically, now that the county's enforcing it, what essentially happened, and Frank and I, as we read kind of some code related to ag and markets, because we thought we could see people in there, there is a lot that the state actually was not enforcing. So good opportunity for everybody to learn. The mayor and myself plan on meeting with the county to discuss further, because we have some concerns with all our community events, and not only that, the farmers market, and we just want to make sure everybody that's in our community is well informed, and so we can let potential, food truck people know, because certainly no one wants that as a last minute surprise, especially when you're organizing an event. So in spite of all of that, which was a big headache, it was tremendously successful. Lines for our businesses were really just down blocks. I appreciate our police department, Mike DiMartino in particular, made sure that there was more presence, just to make sure people were not eyewitness to willingly walking in front of vehicles when there was a green light for vehicles and pedestrians should have stopped. But we had some, it was alarming actually. It was like, guys, please don't cross. But so a lot of hands involved. Congratulations to the BSBPA. I'm trying to pull up. Yes. So.
Keep talking. I'll pull up.
Pardon me, man. Okay. So just to let folks know, the winners, if you haven't already seen it on the BSBPA's Facebook, for the sweet category, I think we just, there we go. The sweet category was won by the Swedish chef for chocolate caramel truffles. We heard they were great. We could not get in the door. It was busy. Savory was made with bread for their chocolate cherry sourdough toast, and beverage was DB Trends for Spanish hot chocolate, which I hear is also amazing. The reason why I make such a big deal about this is so we get people in our village spending their money in the middle of winter, and it's great to see so many people discover Ballston Spa, discover what our small businesses have to offer. So that's a long way of saying it was good, and thankful to everybody that participated and enjoyed.
How many people at the Real Voice said basically, I've never been here before, and wanted to come, and there was their first opportunity, they loved it. So there's an example of it.
Exactly. Also, just real briefly on our fire department, in the month of January, there were 44 emergency calls, which included 15 general alarms and then 3 reported structure fires, and 1 was an actual working fire. There was 12 mutual structure fire response requests. Again, 3 of them were working fires. And then there was actually a situation where 2 mutual aid firefighters fell through a hole in the floor during a call. So our officers, our volunteers were part of helping get people safe and secure. Again, we still deal with motor vehicle accidents. There's 3 that just basically there was 450 plus man hours of emergency response. In addition to that, they had 3 department drills and then 4 individual company training drills, which is 250 man hours from our volunteers. Just to note, the ladder truck EL-132 is being repaired. It's aerial master stream now, I don't know what that is. But they've been quoted a price for repair, and it should take about 4 weeks turnaround. So they are very busy. Ben's not here tonight, but briefly for Arts Committee, as you heard earlier, they are working on haikus to be displayed in the village. April, they're going to be celebrating Poetry Month again. There'll be opportunities to engage or even create your own work or share your own work. I'm so glad to hear that they're bringing back the open mic poetry night at Real McCoy, which will be in April 9th. There's workshop plans as well for April, so keep an eye out on their Facebook page and also the village's page. We'll put some information up there. Just thankful for all their efforts to bring arts to our community. Oh, and they also have a really nice open mic night, music, Ballston. So that's it for me. It's a lot.
Sean, I will tell you that Scott Kearns is asking for your forgiveness because he couldn't really generate a report because of snow and snow and snow.
Yeah, I had a phone conversation with him, and he goes, yeah, you know, snow removal, snow removal, snow removal. One thing he wanted me to add was for folks that have fire hydrants near them or in front of their properties, if you could do a huge favor and clear those out, that could make the difference between a small fire and a big fire, having to clear out a fire hydrant to access it. Also, we wanted me to mention that if folks who haven't moved their cars since the weekend and are still encased in snow, or please try to move it so they can wrap up snow removal, which is kind of ironic because they removed all the snow and then they're going to end up taking that snow and putting it for a sled hill. But that is pretty much all they've been able to manage. There have been some equipment breakdowns, which they've worked on and are getting those the equipment back up and running.
Working on a stress test for equipment. I mean, this has been a stress test for a lot of different things going on here. Thank you, everybody. Liaison reports, old business is not included on here. I just want to say briefly, though, we continue work on the parking schedule. Mary had piped in today with some good thoughts on it, and so we're still kind of concluding on trying to get our downtown parking code or parking schedule specifically handled over the next couple of weeks. So please be patient with that, but I think we have kind of a pathway to do it. Jennifer is going to be kind of the person in charge of that one to oversee it. Congratulations, John. But we'll probably get some folks to literally walk the streets to confirm things as well, make sure that the signs and the prohibitions are accurately portrayed on the schedule in downtown, and then we'll expand it to the rest of the neighborhoods. No new business to discuss tonight. Public comment on any issue, 3 minutes. And again, same rules apply here. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand now if you'd like to speak. Anybody in the room? I see John Cromie there. Coming up, John. You'll have 3 minutes to speak on any issue. And my director job depends on you to go over to here.
John Cummings, 152 Bath Street, and if I was more organized, I'd probably be on the agenda. I'm speaking on behalf of the Historic District Commission. We met our last meeting was this past week, and what we've decided to do is to begin the process of plaquing houses that are in the newer part of the district, in other words, East High Street, Beach Street, Pleasant, and part of Milton. The older part of the district was plaqued a long time ago, and in order to plaque these homes, they must be first researched. And what I'm doing is asking anybody who's interested in researching these older homes, who would be willing to train them, you can contact me or Commission Member Fred Mankus of Main Street. He's taking volunteers as well. So if anybody wishes to research any of the old houses in town, just let us know. Thank you.
Hey, John. Anybody else in the room? Liz?
Liz Corman, 89 Hyde, I much appreciate Chief Bush's explanation of what actually happened, and everybody who spoke. It's completely off subject, but you may, if you attended the meeting on January 13th, it went over time, and there was a lot of discussion about how long people speak, and I was happy to
to hear, the mayor tonight keep his comments, short, and let the public speak instead. But, I have mentioned that the interest in maybe there was an AI program that could actually determine how long each person spoke. And a colleague of mine reached out to me and said, I can do that. And they analyzed the January 13th meeting. And this may be off by a few seconds, but Mary Price Bush spoke 1 minute and 8 seconds. Carla, the attorney, spoke 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Sean Raymond spoke 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Bernadette spoke 10 minutes and 1 second. Ben Gaskin spoke 18 minutes and 38 seconds. And Mayor Rossi spoke 1 hour, 35 minutes and 36 seconds. So that's the balance of that meeting. And I'd like to see in the future it be a little bit more balanced between, I know the mayor is the presider, but he spoke many times more, took up most of the meeting, and the meeting went over. And there were items that were not addressed that were on the agenda. Thank you.
And one reminder for those on Zoom, if you would like to speak, please raise your hand now. Karen.
Hi, Karen Arias, 9 Church Ave. Appreciate the police officer, Officer Bush, and all the police officers here in the village. We have close family and friends that are police officers, sheriffs, troopers, and all of the work that we put into it and risk their lives every day for all of us and our safety. And I understand. I reached out because it happened on our property. What happened? I spoke to one of the village police officers, explained the situation to me, what happened and how the whole thing went down. There are a lot of people that are concerned in our community that are undocumented people. I work in a local school district. I know local school districts are very concerned in handling different situations. I think as a community, we need to be aware of what we are saying out there on social media and spreading misinformation, and that if you need information, talk to the police officers, get in touch with them. If they're the ones that have the correct information. Spreading things, it just fuels people's anxiety and fears. And we have received lots of emails from people in the community about what's going on, thinking we're the ones that caused some of this, like we were the ones calling it, and we had to clarify with many people that we had nothing to do with it, and please reach out to the police officers and they can clarify it. So I think as a community, we really need to be aware of what we're putting out on social media and saying in social media, the facts need to come from the police officers. So thank you again.
Thanks, Karen. Ellie's coming up next. You got a former student to my left again here, Ellie.
Yes, I have. First of all, we did survive the chocolate fest, extremely successful. Okay, but I just wanted to emphasize something that maybe was missed with Officer Bush's presentation, and I want you to focus on this. He said he then drove them up to the Robin Hood motel. So I want to thank you for that little nugget of kindness. Okay.
Anybody else in the room?
Hello, John Manning from the Zach. How are you?
What's your address, man?
Excuse me?
Your address. You have an address.
Oh, I went there before my place.
There you go.
Thank you. At our last meeting in Zach, which was on January 16th, the majority of the ZAC members at that committee meeting decided to go into other topics of discussion and thought it was important for the committee to discuss these things and provide recommendations to the board. We have not spoken about terminating the building action committee, and unfortunately, I think Chris must have misspoke when he was speaking on behalf of the entire committee, because that's not how the entire committee feels. I would just like to let you know that, okay?
Thank you.
You got it.
Anything else? Seeing none? And seeing none, it is time for other business, including but not limited to board response to public comment. Yeah, Bernadette, a little, over here. Folks?
Just to touch briefly on the discussion earlier today regarding our police department and how the stop was handled. First off, I'm thankful for our officers. It's not easy in those situations. You don't always know what you're going to be coming across. So first, I want to thank them for their service, but I also want to thank the folks that talked and spoke up today. You know, Ken, Crystal, I believe it's Alexandra. I don't know her, but I'm glad there's some folks speaking up. My family, we're immigrants, and there's certainly, I think all of us, no matter where you fall on this issue, want to be cognizant. There are people that have been here in this community serving and working on farms, working at the track. They are part of our community, and I appreciate that our policy is not to actively go after people unless they're really violating our laws. I would love, and it sounds like the mayor and you guys will get together, but I would love a continued conversation about this. I would love a way to find and have translation services available. Whether we work cooperatively with county, I don't know, but some conversations should be had about it. It's really becoming a necessity no matter what, because there are folks that are here legally, and yes, to some degree, there's controversy whether folks should be here or shouldn't be here. At the end of the day, they're here, and they are humans. No matter what side you are on this issue, please remember that they're human beings. Thank you for giving us information. I've been working on a task force with the Assembly on human trafficking since last summer. So thank you for being cognizant of that. That's not an easy thing always to identify. It is very suspicious that man drove up and was asking about those individuals in their vehicle. It is happening in New York State. So thank you for your officers and our police department for being sensitive to that. So I maybe not everybody's happy in either direction today, but our community is talking, and that to me is tremendously important. And I hope that, you know, we continue to talk about this. There's a lot that we still have to learn. We don't know what's going to happen at the federal level. We don't know what the state's necessarily going to do. So I feel comfortable knowing our position and how our officers handle it and how this department handles it. And quite frankly, I'm very proud of them. And thank you for that.
I just want to, again, thank Chief Bush for the explanation, taking the time, and giving everybody a better understanding of the actual events that occurred. I would just ask the Chief, in your opinion, would you feel that the policies and protocols of the Ballston Spa Police are consistent with those of county and state police enforcement?
Yes.
So you're doing what every other police agency would do?
Actually, that's covered under the manual of police, which every police officer, that's their Bible, and it comes from the state police. They wrote it, that's their Bible, and they pass it down to the municipal police, and that's what we go by. And everything that we do as police officers, from putting our handcuffs in our handcuff case, is covered in this book. again, it's all standard, so state police on that.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification.
I agree with Bernadette. I think a lot of people, myself included, were a little nervous that this might have become a very heated topic in meeting, and it's fantastic that people stood up, voiced their concerns, and I saw people in the back, hopefully they're not working, and it's opening channels where the community can help people relate to the community and, you know, kind of squash any fears we have of what's going on, and all work together, and very proud to be part of this community.
I'll just say, as we head toward budget time, I invariably get the question, because, you know, taxes become the issue and everything else, what do I get for my tax money? And look around you, this physical structure, yes, but especially our chief, who, you know, you couldn't ask for more information and more compassion, but also more, you know, duty that he exemplifies from that. His police department that follow in his footsteps every step of the way, because if they don't, they'll be held to pay, I'm sure. But long story short, this is just one of the features that makes living in the Village of Ballston Spa and being a part of this community such an invaluable thing, something that I am proud to be mayor of. Every day I wake up. Some days are tough to wake up in this role, but Chief Bush, whenever you come hopping into my office to talk, it's a highlight of my day and my week to see you and to talk to you, to know that we're in great hands. Apparently he doesn't want to keep me happy here. Having said all that, and to not have an AI tell me that I'm speaking too long, can I get a motion in the voucher fee audit and the meeting be adjourned at 8:38 p.m.? Trustee Fandesa, Trustee Price Bush, discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.